We're also recording now on Zoom. Give me just a few moments, you guys, to wrap everything up on both ends.
Hey, Jessica? Jessica? You froze on me for some reason. Hey. Nothing here. Good. Hey, Jessica? Hello? Jessica? You froze on me for some reason. Hey, Jessica? Hello? Jessica? You froze on me for some reason.
She might have had to log back out and log back in. It's not on
Yeah,
my.
I think she did. Yeah, she did. I think she's left and come back out. So
on me for some reason.
she's left and come out. So something like that. So
She might have had to log back out and log back in. It's not on
yeah,
my.
I think she did. Yeah, she did. I think she's left and come back out. So she's left and come out. So something like that. So
She might have had to log back out and log back in. It's not on
yeah,
my.
I think she did. Yeah, she did. I think she's left and come back out. So left and come out. So something like that. So hello, everyone. We're just waiting on Jessica to get back in. Hey, Sadidi. Hey, Aditi. It's Adam Farris. We're waiting on Jessica, the host, to come back in.
Adam, it's so good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too. How you been doing?
I've been good.
Good, good. We lost our host, Jessica.
Come back.
Huh? Yeah, waiting. Oh, there she is. Hey, welcome back, Jessica.
Jessica, you're muted still.
Yeah, let's see.
There you go. So Adam and I were talking earlier about the technical challenges that we were having with our phones.
I know.
I actually left my laptop charger at the office yesterday. So I ran to Walmart this morning to buy kind of a substitute, and it was working fine until it wasn't.
Oh, Lord.
So
Walmart charges. I'm kidding.
Yeah, thankfully I had already made Adam the co-host so that the meeting didn't stop. But it says it's still live on Facebook as well. So hey,
yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Win-win. All right. Yeah. Well, I do apologize, you guys. Did I miss anything juicy?
No.
No. All right. Well, let's get started. Adam, I want to thank you again for being here with us for our Tuesday Talks today. Let's start by just telling us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I am an inspirational speaker, an advocate, and an entrepreneur, and I am the founder of a small business here in Houston, Texas, called Unique Abilities, and it's very, very uniquely spelled. It's spelled YOUNIQUE Abilities. I'll put that in the chat as well for everyone. But what I do is I also work at Walmart part-time. While I'm putting this in the chat, give me 1 second. I work at Walmart part-time as a cashier. abilities. There we go. So as a cashier, and being a cashier during COVID-19 and dealing with a lot of different changes and a lot of different stress and a lot of different different things like that, you can understand how stressful it is being a cashier and wearing a face mask or wearing a face shield or whatnot, etc. That's stressful on its own just for people in general, right? But for me, especially having anxiety or diagnosed anxiety, it gets even more stressful. So especially with it being Suicide Awareness Month, you want to take care of others and care about one another and care about each other. So that being said, with COVID especially happening this so often, right? It's important to think about, okay, well, is Adam okay? Okay, is your neighbor okay? Is everyone okay? Is, for example, let's say your coworker, right? Are they down? Are they feeling down? Do they look different? Are they feeling different? Do they have different signs of that they're showing? So that's all being said, are they acting differently than usual? So
those are all great points. Like you said, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So we've been trying to highlight a lot this month about ways to care for your neighbor, for your friend, signs and symptoms to look out for, ways to reach out, to ask if they need help, and also where to go to get help. So we definitely have some of those, some of that information on our social media pages, but definitely visit our website, nonmigratorhouston.org, for more information and resources about where to get help. And we also have what we call a warm line through our care center, which is if you call Monday through Friday between 9 and 5, that will be a warm body to talk to you, to give advice on where to get certain resources, crisis information, or just an ear. Sometimes we all just need somebody to talk to, right?
exactly.
But let's dig into you personally a little bit more, Adam. Do you mind sharing with us what diagnoses or mental health conditions that you live with?
Sure. So I have a big diagnosis, a large, wide range. I have Tourette Syndrome, Tourette's. I have autism or pervasive developmental disorder, PDD-NOS, which affects your social skills, which you would not believe that I have pervasive developmental disorder or autism at all, because all of my customers will want to say, Adam, you don't have this, Adam, you don't have that, or whatnot, etc. I have diagnosed anxiety, tremors in the hands due to Tourette's. I have ADHD, OCD, you name it, I pretty much have it. It's a lot there. So
that is a lot. I think any one of those issues can be a challenge for most people to live with day to day, and for you to have so many that have been diagnosed, kudos to you for getting up every day.
we got a question here.
Say what?
There's a question from the menu here.
Yes. And I actually want to come back to that a little bit, if that's okay, CJ.
Sure.
But I want to dig in a little bit more to your, with your Tourette's, because that's something that a lot of us have heard, but don't really understand what it is. Right. And also in my study of Tourette's, I've learned that it comes out in different forms. So I want to know what that looks like. First of all, what is Tourette's? And then secondly, what does it look like specifically in your case?
So for me, particularly right now, at least, I have a throat clearing tic like that. Now that I say it, I have to do it. But Tourette syndrome is basically when two parts of your brain called the dopamine receptors don't connect, and you have involuntary movements and sounds that you basically cannot control. So mine can range, or Tourette's syndrome tics, we call them tics, which are involuntary movements and sounds, basically, that we cannot control, can range from anything. It can be hopping up and down. It can be throwing your shoulder, thrusting your arm to, thrusting your head to. The tics can range from a lot to a lot to very minimal. I say going through puberty was one of the worst times of my life because for some reason going through puberty with Tourette's is like it's very, very hard. So just because you're growing up and that's when you're growing up, and that's the hardest time that your tics escalate. So, but when I was growing up, my father and my mother brought me up, and they helped me out really, really a lot. So, but especially because of the fact that they took me out to movie theaters and restaurants and public places, and they said, "Hey, Adam, if you're not comfortable, we can take you back home." But I said, "Hey, I am comfortable, and I want people to know what Tourette syndrome really is." So I said, "Hey, if someone made a stare or made a comment or whatnot, etc., then I would say, hey, it's okay." So, people really need to be more understanding of people with disabilities, or what I call unique abilities. So, if someone made a comment, I would say, that's what I have. So, yeah, so.
In movies and television, of course, they highlight the more extreme or what can come off as disturbing parts of Tourette's. People who are screaming curse words and profanity, or the movements that are much more obvious and distracting. So I think it's important that people understand that there are different types of Tourette's.
There are, yeah.
All as dramatic as the media would like to portray.
And the involuntary what's it called? Involuntary cursing is actually a very, very small percentage of individuals with Tourette's, and that is called coprolalia. Coprolalia, and it's, like I said, it's like less than 5 or 10% of individuals with Tourette's. So, yeah.
That's good to know. That is good to know. Yeah. So now to kind of flip back to the question that CJ asked, which is definitely something I would want to know as well. What methods do you use to cope and to adapt? Because like you said, looking at you, listening at you, I would not have imagined that you were living with these types of conditions.
Yeah. So, well, one thing is that I take medication, and for my tremors, which you wouldn't believe that I have tremors holding an iPad here in my hands, and I go every 3 months to a neurologist here in Houston, and I get Botox in my arms because, like, right now I'm pretty shaky, right? But every 3 months or so, I get a Botox in my arms. It's a very, very, very tiny needle, and it goes right about there or so. Anyways, you can't see, but it's very tiny, and it's about 2 shots, and it actually helps out a lot with the shakiness that I have from tremors, and that stabilizes the muscles. Because being a cashier at Walmart, it can be tough, bagging and sacking and checking, etc. And then other methods, I get getting a message. But I would I take so I got distracted, sorry. I take CBD gummies, which is actually that has less than the point whatever percentage of the actual CBD or whatnot, but it's actually very, very helpful. And we've tested this, and it's actually very, 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 very helpful. So I calm down. I take them before I go to work, and it's, like I said, it has less than, I think, 0.3% THC or whatnot, whatever the number is, and they're from a reliable company, and really, really, really slows me down. So, first time I took those gummies, I was like, it was so much easier to breathe and everything similar. So it was great. So
Awesome. I'm glad that you found remedies that help alleviate your symptoms
and
and make it easier for you to function.
let me know if that answered your question or not.
Well, it definitely answers my question. I'm not sure if CJ will have a follow-up, but if anybody has questions, you guys are welcome to type them into the chat. You're welcome to send them to me. And that goes for Facebook as well. You're welcome to type a question in chat and we're checking that as well, or send one directly to the NAMI Greater Houston inbox. So how has Tourette's affected your mental health? Your brother made a comment in the chat box, if you don't mind me taking a moment to read.
No, that's what I was looking at earlier.
He said when you were younger, he remembers that your OCD would overlap and affect your Tourette's and tics, because not only were you not able to control your tics or vocal tics, your OCD would kick in, and you kind of had to do certain tics a certain amount of time, which again, that's a lot to maintain.
Yeah.
So how has that affected your mental health? Because like you said, your job at Walmart, that's stressful for the average person. So how have all of these things affected your mental health, both in your youth and now?
So I've been bullied, but not like physically bullied, just mentally, right? So like I said, when I would go out to public places or in the movie theater, etc., whatnot, people would say things, hurtful things or whatnot, but you don't let it get to yourself. You don't let it get to yourself. When customers come by and I'm doing this all day long, they think, okay, especially during COVID, I'm like, okay, well, it's not COVID, people, it's a tic. And I have to explain it to them in Spanish a lot too, which is hard to do because we have a very diverse, ethnicity at my Walmart. But it's like it's very, very, very hard to do to discuss that, and then family support has been great. Family. That is the main thing. Family is awesome. So love family. Family and friends and loved ones is what makes the world go round as well. So.
Actually, you had a family member over on Facebook that was commenting at the same time that you have a lot of family support, and that's awesome. That's amazing, and it's so crucial, I believe, to recovery. And
I agree.
Circle back to kind of a little bit about what NAMI does is, as much as we wish everyone had that support system, they don't. So NAMI does hope to provide a support system for people who are living with mental illness and also for their caregivers and loved ones. Because they are also in a very vulnerable situation, especially when there's that feeling of, I can't make them do what, I believe is best for them to do for their condition, and I don't know how to cope. So NAMI does have free support groups for both of those categories all over the city of Houston, in Harris County, Montgomery County, and Fort Bend County. And right now, all of those support groups are being held virtually. So again, please go to our website, namigreaterhouston.org, to learn a little bit more about the support groups, about what we do, and reach out, get help with whatever it is that you may be living with.
Very cool.
So let's circle back to how CJ says NAMI San Antonio is here for you too. That's
awesome.
Right.
Awesome, love it.
It is, I love the support. Tell us about how you've gotten from there to here, where you're an author, you're a public speaker, you have this amazing organization. How have you used those challenges to build yourself into the amazing man that we see today?
Well, one day there's going to be a book about me. one day when I have time. But from a long time ago to where I am today, I had gone to a So back 2012, with when I got diagnosed with autism, which is a very late diagnosis, 2012 to 20, 2020. So I'm 32 now. So I basically had no friends, was getting kicked and barred out of places left and right. So, but I went to a transitional living program, and I was I had a support coach or a life coach, and I went there for my social skills and my life skills as well, which really helped out my life coach especially. So, but what's great about learning life skills and social skills and learning about mental health issues as well is that you can go back and you can think, okay, well, I haven't been barred or kicked out of a restaurant since 2015 when I moved back to Houston. I have a small group of friends. Because you don't need all these big groups of friends that think they're your friends, right? You just need that small support group. So that makes sense. And then you also have your family and your friends and your loved ones. And where I came from is like it's a long story. Let's just say that, but it's an amazing, great story. Y'all can also follow me on my website and my social media platforms that I'll post on the chat and the Facebook as well. Is that okay, Jessica?
Yeah.
So they can read that story and see that story as well.
Absolutely. Please do.
Cool. Yeah. So.
But that our programs director Angelina Hudson also reminded me that we now have support groups in Waller County. So if there's anyone that's living in that area or has family in that area, please definitely look to our website for more information to get involved with those support groups. So one thing I want to know, Adam, you said so many things that I completely agree with and that need to be said. You talked about the benefits of medication. You talked about the benefits of finding, your own individual holistic approaches to wellness. You talked about the strength and importance of family support, about being yourself, your authentic self, and not giving in to bullies, about educating others. If you had to pick one or two big things that you would want to share with someone who is going through what you are or have been through, what would that be?
One or two things. Let's see here. Well, I've got a lot. Let's just say that. I say never, ever give up on your dreams. That's a big one. Never, ever give up on your dreams.
I love that one.
And then, can I pick from three? Okay. Three?
Go for it.
Two or three. The other two would be make one person smile a day. Think how that would make them feel. Make two people smile a day and imagine the possibilities. And then can't is not a word. Can't is not a word.
It's something I tell my children often, and they often disagree.
Exactly.
But it's one of my favorite sayings, and I absolutely love that, and I love how it applies to mental health and those who are living with mental illness.
Yeah.
So
I had a professor in or a teacher in college that said he had it on his door. Can't is not a word. So.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
CJ has another question. He wants to know, did you have 100% support from family? He's talked to peers who've had parents that wanted to pray and avoid the fact that their child wasn't feeling right, which is something I'd like to talk to as well after you've answered.
See, what was it again?
He wants to know, did you always have 100% support from your family?
Yes, I always have. I've always had a really loving, caring family. My family has always been there for me. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my whole entire family has been there for me the entire time. So yeah, it's been really, really awesome. So my grandfather and grandmother, when they were around, were super helpful, and it was just really awesome. The love in the relationship that we've had. I've now got a niece and everything like that. So it's been really nice. So just to have all this wonderful support with family that I know some people don't, a lot of people do, but it's really nice to always have that that support there that we need. So if you don't have good connection with family, you know, it's definitely meaningful. So definitely a meaningful connection. So
It is. And again, a reminder for those who don't necessarily afford it to please don't let that be a deterrent for getting help for yourself. Please reach out. NAMI is always here. If no one else, you definitely have NAMI. So please reach out for help. Don't feel like you're in this alone, because you are not. There are many people who are living through what you're living through every day. And NAMI has resources that can help you get from wherever you are through to recovery.
or find someone that's like a father figure or a mother figure to you. Does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely. A
yeah.
mentor, a spiritual
mentor, yeah.
leader, a close friend, someone who can kind of help guide you through that journey. To speak to the other part of CJ's message about having parents that wanted to pray and avoid the realities of mental illness, that's something that we've encountered quite a lot, unfortunately, is a lot of people believe that spirituality is the only way to heal mental illness or to address mental illness. NAMI has a great relationship with several churches and spiritual communities in the greater Houston area. And the other NAMI affiliates also have their own programs to address faith-based programming and faith-based treatment. So there is a way that you can still maintain your faith. You can still believe in whatever your religion is and still get treatment for mental health. One does not have to ignore the other. So there's a way to do it together. And again, please reach out to NAMI. We're happy to refer you to some of those spiritual faith-based programs. And Laurie made a comment over on Facebook. She mentioned that the Monarch School and their teachers had a huge impact on you and helped give you the tools to become independent and confident. So
Exactly.
shout out to the Monarch School. We've got our Dr. Neil Sarahan on with us now. He's listening and supporting you.
And now I'm at the Hub Houston, which is a wonderful program too. The Hub Houston.
I have heard of the Hub Houston, and yes, everyone speaks very highly of that program. So again, it's just another resource for people to reach out to, right?
Exactly. So I am in the Hub Houston, which is a wonderful organization. So another wonderful organization. So definitely wonderful. So.
Good. Does anyone else on Facebook or in Zoom have any questions immediately for Adam? I'm really enjoying our conversation, and I love that he's speaking to you all from a peer's point of view. A lot of times, many of our speakers are more on the clinical side, but Adam he's living it. So he's definitely in a position to answer any questions that you all may have.
Hi, this is CJ. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You sure can, CJ.
I am, yeah, sorry, I've been asking a lot of questions. I'm fascinated with just learning more about your experience, but I have to drop off to attend a staff meeting. But I just wanted to thank you so much for your time and your honesty. I so enjoyed this. I really wish I could play hooky and stay on for the next half hour, but I look forward to hearing about the rest of the call. I know it's being recorded, and Jessica, I'll follow up with you, but just wanted to personally say thank you. And you're
welcome.
You're an inspiration. So
I will definitely
appreciate your confidence, and thanks for helping build people up. This is good stuff.
You're welcome. And I'm going to put in the chat my website if I can here.
Okay.
Real quick for you, CJ.
That sounds great. Uh-oh, they're calling me. Gotta go. Talk
Have
to you
a nice day.
later.
Thanks so much. That was fun and very sweet of her to say. And again, I absolutely agree. I believe you are an inspiration. And I hope that others can learn and also help to get to recovery. from what you said here. And to piggyback a little bit, Angelina has also reminded me that we have a faith-based support group at St. John's downtown on Tuesdays. It's called the Love Group. So if anyone is looking for a faith-based organization or a faith-based mental health group, that is a great place to start. And if you have any questions, please give us a call at the NAMI office.
And yeah, thank you. And don't forget to support NAMI too. So NAMI is a great nonprofit organization. So
thank you. And I'm going to give a quick plug. We actually have our second National Day of Hope coming up on October 10th, which is also World Mental Health Day. So we're going to be having our annual membership meeting. We're also going to be having some fun wrap-ups for our 2020 NAMI Walks event. We're going to be giving out lots of awards and prizes, and we're also going to be kicking into the 2021 event, which is going to be around the corner before you know it. So please mark your calendar, save the date, October 10th. We're going to have some fun events coming up for National Day of Hope.
awesome.
So you mentioned that September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. How have your mental conditions, your Tourette's, your anxiety, how have they contributed to your passion for making sure that people are understood, especially during Suicide Prevention Awareness Month?
So one of my things is that you have to be, what the hub Houston always says is that you have to be heard, understood, and believed in. So my thing is like just, you know, make sure that people understand you, make sure people hear you, and make sure people believe you. So, or believe in you. Sorry. So you know, if someone doesn't believe in you, you don't you're not being believed in. If someone doesn't hear you, not hear you, but hear you physically, but hear you what's the word? Hear you I guess mentally. Does that work? I guess. Then you know you're not being heard. You know, and then if you if no one understands you, then you're really not being understood. So we all need to be heard, understood, and believed in. Like the hub says, the hub Houston stands for heard, understood, and believed in. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, hub stands for heard, understood, believed in. So, which is a great. So you know, I think that you know if we're not heard, understood, or believed in, then what are we here for? You know, so it's great to understand all that. So yeah.
Right, it's absolutely important, and I love what you said about, you know, making one person smile or reaching out to one person and imagining the difference that could make, you know, or if you reach out to two people, can you imagine the tree and the effect that would create if you made two people smile and they made two people smile and they made two people smile?
It's going to be a chain, you know.
Right.
If you make one person smile, that person makes another person smile, then that person makes another person smile. My whole life, my whole entire day at work, when I'm at Walmart, is like to make someone smile. I take time to interact with, engage, and talk to each and every one of my customers, even though there's only 6 or so registers, actual cash registers. It's kind of tough, you know, because we have long lines a lot. But you know, it's like I take time to interact with, engage, and talk to my customers. If they don't want to talk and they're on their cell phone, chatting in through the line, I'll still engage with them, even though they're not listening with the darn. I'm like, hey, hello, how you doing today? How's your day going? Hope you have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your week. They're still chatting away. I'm like, well, you know, they're gonna do as they do, but I'm gonna have a good time chatting with them. So, you know, I get pretty much all the customer compliments.
I bet, because you don't get that often, especially in customer service, especially in places who are as large and overwhelmed as Walmart. So super kudos to you for that.
How do you deal with? Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to read that for you. So we do have a question from Neil Sarahan. He wants to know, how do you deal with not being heard or understood or believed? What is in your toolkit to deal with the reality that sometimes that just won't happen? I think that's a great
Exactly.
question.
And thank you, Neil. How are you doing? How do you deal with not being heard, understood, or believed in? That is a good question. Sometimes it does happen, and that's kind of tough to go through, but I've honestly I've gone through that, I guess, a couple times. It's hard. It really is hard. Long time ago, I can remember this, and I'm sure family members can too. I went to a transitional program, like I said, and I wasn't taking my medication correctly. Which is no good. You make sure you take your medications correctly. So I wasn't feeling heard or understood or believed in, and I ended up doing some things that I shouldn't have. So nothing illegal, but let's just say I wasn't doing things the way I should have been. So that was really tough for me, and I didn't have anybody around me that I knew, because my family was all back in Texas and I was up in North Carolina. So I was like, well, it's like, this isn't right. So then I ended up doing what I was supposed to do, ended up being heard, ended up being understood, and ended up being believed in at that program. And I felt like I was somewhere. And I ended up finishing the program, and etc. So
what helped you get from that initial point of not being heard and understood and believed in to the program that assisted you in changing that?
I think it was more me following the rules and taking some time to understand the rules, and and understanding how I felt, and understanding because they had a lot of rules there, but understanding taking my medications on time and accurately, etc. So medications.
So what I'm hearing you say is, when you're in a place where you don't feel heard, understood, and believed in, you kind of revert back to basics, which is taking your medication on time and correctly, following the rules that have been set forth by whatever program you are in at the time, and just going back to those things that work.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Back to basics, as they say, right?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Let me switch over to Facebook and see if anybody has. Oh, Laurie says that you found a mentor up there, which helped a lot.
Yes, he was great. Ben Green, he was an awesome guy. So he is an awesome guy, I should say.
Good. Which takes us back to what we were saying about how much difference one person can make, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? I'm loving the conversation.
Oh, me too. It's wonderful. I love this great conversation. So.
And as Anna mentioned, he is a public speaker. So if you would like more information on how to get in touch with him for speaking engagements, he has listed his website in the Facebook and the Zoom chat. So he is more than available. And as you can tell, he's more than capable. And I think he would be a good speaker for reaching out to your audience. So Dr. Neal has another question. He wants to know a little bit more about your company.
My business, Unique Abilities, yeah. So Unique Abilities is a small business, if you don't mind, Jessica, that we sell awareness merchandise and a lot more that is handmade by individuals with what we call a unique ability rather than a disability. And we have an online store, and we believe, like I said, that we don't like using the words disabled or disability, really, because we don't like to label people, because instead we should use the words unique or unique abilities or differing abilities, right? We are all just different people or with a unique ability, because in the past, We've used the words like retarded or disabled, right? So, but anyways, but you know, those words don't work, but unique abilities or differing abilities do. So we chose the name Unique Abilities for our business. So we have an online store that sells handmade items, such as jewelry, t-shirts, hats for the summertime, all this cool autism awareness and other items that are handmade by individuals with a unique ability or a disability, whatever you want to call it. But they're all mostly handmade by people with autism or individuals such as. So
Thank you again for explaining that to us and making us aware of that. We definitely want to go and support.
yeah.
So I have another question.
Mhm.
You mentioned early on that you did experience bullying when you were younger because of your differences. What message would you have to those who are dealing with bullying now because of their differences? And how do you cope with those things privately? And also, what do you say publicly? How do you address those things publicly?
Right. So I am also part of a nonprofit organization called I'm Bully Free. They're part of the board of directors, but different story. But bullying is part of our everyday lives, which is kind of sad to be honest with you, but it is true. But we need to stop bullying. And you know, for example, let's say that the bullies are being, for example, let's say the bully is being bullied into bullying, or the bullies are actually have maybe the bullies are being bullied and then that bully becomes a bully. Does that make sense? Kind of, sort of. But how I dealt with it is in the way that, like I said, I went and I talked to them. I said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I have. This is my Tourette Syndrome, so that they could understand, you know? Because when I would go in and I would sit in a very, 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 very quiet movie theater, and I would do wah or not, or to make a really, really, really loud sound, or hooting and shouting noise is what I had back a long time ago. People would stare, people would make comments, etc. You know, I'd just turn around, hey, this is what I have. Like, okay, cool, you're fine with me. Or they would walk out of the movie theater. I'm like, it's perfectly fine. I'm staying. So, I had, some people walk up to me and say, hey, could you leave? Like, no, this is me and this is me and what I have, so. And it didn't, it didn't really honestly affect me too much because my father was there and everything like that. And he really, really helped me out. He said, Adam, if you're not comfortable, then we can go home. But I always said, hey, I'm good. So.
That's great, again, that you have that support system. So what you're saying is that confidence in yourself and that understanding of yourself is what gave you the strength to be able to address it to other people very honestly, very openly. Like, this is who I am. This is what I have. I'm okay with it. Either get on board or back off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no fights, obviously. We
No
don't want to have fights. No fights. None of that. But yeah,
right.
so.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
Getting in fights just leads to more bullying. So.
Absolutely, and kind of, back to what you were saying about, like I said, hurt people who are hurting themselves often lash out to hurt other people that they feel represent themselves in some way, or that sometimes it's just an easy target, right?
Yeah.
So what about a message to someone who is not as confident as you are about your conditions and who are afraid to explain to others, to a bully, to their employer, to a teacher, what their condition is?
I would just say maybe get some help, like a mentor or tutor or something similar that can maybe help you talk to that employer, maybe talk to that person. I'm about to put I'm bully free in the chat, because we actually work with into people that are being bullied. So but yeah, it's a great nonprofit organization, and we're locally. And but yeah, so if you're not comfortable maybe talking to somebody about if you're being bullied or whatnot, definitely find a mentor or someone similar that can help you out, because or somebody similar to a mentor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody that's got your back.
Exactly. Always got to have your back. So
Awesome. And I'm going to make sure that we add these organizations, or that we make sure that they're added to our resource center, so that when people do call in with similar issues. Now,
just,
I know personally 3 new organizations that I can send them to, so that's pretty great.
yeah.
But again, just to circle back around, there's always somewhere to go for help, whether it's NAMI, whether it's Unique Abilities, whether it's the Hub, whether it's I Am Bully Free. There's always somewhere to go for help. So please, please, please never feel like you are in this alone. Never feel like there's no way out. There's nobody to turn to. Nobody will understand. You are not alone. NAMI's got your back. Adam's got your back. And so the many organizations that he shared with us today.
I always care about my friends. If one of my friends or family members is looking down or feeling down or whatnot, I'll come up to you and say, hey, are you feeling okay today? If one of my family members or whatnot is feeling down, hey, you doing okay today? Just making sure you're okay. So thumbs up. So yeah, so.
I love it. Well, again, I have so enjoyed our conversation. Just a reminder to everyone that this will stay on our Facebook page, and it'll also be on our website. And I'm going to send the recording to Adam for him to be able to share on his site as well. So if you ever need to come back for a reference, it is there for you guys to view. Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us, for bringing your friends and family to join us. What do you want to leave us with? What do you want to leave our viewers with?
Let me think. Gotta leave you with something good. Let me think. So I'm gonna leave y'all with the 4 agreements. If no one's ever read it, you have to read it. It's a great book. So the 4 agreements are, one second. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm in another window on my computer.
We talked about our shared multiple windows open, right? That was how we first connected.
So the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. Do not take things personally. Do not make assumptions, and always do your best. So be impeccable with your word. Do not take things personally. Always do your best, and do not make assumptions. So,
awesome.
And remember to keep smiling, everyone, because it's what makes the world go round.
You are amazing, Adam. Thank you so much. Neil made a comment that was good and brave and solid, and I 110% agree. So thank you for your wisdom, for your bravery, for your kindness, and for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we will be streaming live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Facebook and on Zoom. So be sure to come join the conversation to see what we talk about next week.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Victory. Everyone, have a nice day.
You're more than welcome, Adam. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Later, bro.
Later, Justin.